This is Rights at Risk, a podcast from the World Organization Against Torture. We explore human rights through stories from the front lines and analysis from experts.
No human being is illegal.
I'm your host, Claire-Marie Germain.
There's been a strong international response to a BBC investigation highlighting the ill treatment of Palestinian medical staff by the Israeli Defense Forces at a hospital in Gaza last month.
The Israeli soldiers are actually bragging about acts of torture, and this is by publishing videos. They are actually filming and capturing pictures and videos of them torturing Palestinians, and they are using and publishing these videos on their personal social media accounts.
Palestinian detainees in Israeli custody have always suffered from poor detention conditions, but their situation has worsened a lot since the attack on October 7. Tala Nasser is a lawyer working for the human rights organization Atamir that supports prisoners in Israeli and Palestinian jails. She reveals the crimes that go on behind these walls and how we can all help to stop them. Hello Tala, welcome to Rights at Risk.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Why did you decide to defend the rights of Palestinian detainees?
In Palestine, like every family has at least one family member arrested in Israeli prisons. This is a big issue for Palestinians. For example, a month ago, the Israeli occupation forces arrested my a young cousin. She's 23 years old. She was arrested from her home in the middle of the night. She was brutally beaten, humiliated. They also pointed their guns at my family members. I've been through this harsh experience with my family and all the humiliation we've been subjected to during this arrest. And this is, of course, in addition to thousands of Palestinians who've been mistreated during the arrest of their loved ones.
What's the situation for Palestinian detainees in Israeli custody?
It's important to differentiate between prisoners from the West Bank and prisoners from the Gaza Strip. And this doesn't mean that anyone is has advantage in this case. But the thing is, they are both subjected to different acts of torture and ill treatment. But it's important to differentiate. I'll start first with the West Bank prisoners. So, since the beginning of the aggression, after October 7th, the Israeli occupation forces began conducting massive arrest campaigns, which took place in different cities, villages, and refugee camps. They have arrested thousands of Palestinians after October 7th, and specifically, they have arrested more than 8,650 Palestinian detainees, including more than 290 female detainees, more than 75 journalists, and 15 members of the Legislative Council. Additionally, they have arrested more than 610 children and around 100 university students. So they are actually targeting everyone, especially journalists and human rights defenders and lawyers, for example.
How can Israel justify the arrest of so many people?
They are trying or they are using two main policies to incarcerate the largest number of Palestinians. The first policy is actually the administrative detention policy, which is they arrest Palestinians without presenting any charges against them, without any trial, based, just like they claim, based on a secret file that neither lawyer nor the detainee can know what are the exact charges presented against the detainee. 80% of arrests after October 7th were transferred to administrative detention. The number of administrative detainees right now in Israeli prisons have reached more than 3,700 administrative detainees, and this number is actually unprecedented. So the second policy they are using to incarcerate the largest number of Palestinians is charging Palestinians on charges of incitement. And this means that, for example, if I post something on my personal social media account which shows sympathy with the children of Gaza, this might be inciting against the Israeli occupation, and they can arrest me for that. And we have a lot of examples. Like, for example, there's one detainee who've been charged on charges of incitement because he posted 3 hearts, the emoji of the heart on Facebook. So he posted 3 hearts, 3 green hearts. So they claim that the green color is affiliated with Hamas, and this means that he can be imprisoned on charges of incitement.
What are the conditions of detention in Israeli prisons?
Detention conditions have worsened so much after 7th October. At first, the Israeli Prison Service, which is responsible of Palestinian prisoners inside Israeli prisons, have closed the canteen at first, which means that they cannot buy anything from the canteen. And Palestinian prisoners usually buy their food and all their needs from this canteen with their own money, of course. So they have closed this canteen and limited the prisoners to receiving only 2 very poor quality and quantity meals. And this had led to prisoners losing an average of 15 to 20 kilograms of their weight, which is horrible. They also cut off all communications with the prisoners. They closed the sections, they confiscated television sets, they deprived prisoners from family visits and from lawyer visits at the first 2 weeks. They cut off electricity in different prisons, and they restricted the water supply to only 1 hour per day. And this means that they cannot drink water except for this 1 hour. And of course, the water they drink is not a clean water, it's a dirty water. And this led to them having medical issues in their stomach and in their skin. Like they had a rash on their skin and many medical issues because of this dirty water. So they also closed the prison clinics and prevented prisoners from going or to be transferred to outside hospitals and clinics. And that's despite of the presence of some cancer patients among the prisoners who require continuous treatment. So they denied them medical care. And of course, they denied the International Committee of the Red Cross from visiting the prisoners, and they are still denied visiting until this day. We as lawyers have been allowed to visit after 2 weeks, but of course, many restrictions have been imposed on lawyers in the visitation process. And this all adds to the brutal raidings against the prison cells. So the special forces affiliated with the Israeli Prison Service, they raided different cells in the prisons. They brutally beat the prisoners. They tortured the prisoners, in addition to the ill treatment imposed against them. And all these beatings and brutal beatings had led to the killing of more than 18 Palestinian prisoners. They were killed inside Israeli prisons within 7 months.
And did you get a chance to share this information with the Israeli authorities?
We've tried to document testimonies of released prisoners who were with the killed prisoners. And the Israeli occupation authorities opened an investigation regarding 5 cases of the killed prisoners. And they did the autopsy examination for these 5 cases. And the initial autopsy reports show and confirm that they were brutally beaten. They've been bleeding, internally bleeding. They have bruises all over their bodies, and they had fractures in different parts of their bodies, which led to their killing. So this is the reports like confirm all this. We've been submitting complaints to the Israeli authorities for years, and 99% of the complaints we sent, if they open an investigation regarding any of the cases, it ends up closed, claiming there is not enough evidence. So we are afraid this will going to happen also this time with all these killed Palestinians.
And what is going on in Gaza detention centers?
So since the ground invasion which took place in Gaza, the Gaza Strip, massive arrest campaigns have been taking place also in Gaza. They have arrested thousands of Palestinians. And unfortunately, we do not have accurate numbers of Palestinians detained from the Gaza Strip. And this is for this day. So there are many missing Palestinians. The only thing we know is that the Israeli occupation authorities announced that they opened 2 military camps to hold Gazan detainees. But until this day, neither lawyers nor the International Committee of the Red Cross can visit these military camps. But we've been documenting cases of released prisoners from Gaza, and they are speaking about this horrible situation taking place inside the military camps. This Israeli newspaper, Haaretz, is publishing these articles and revealing horrible stuff about the situation in these military camps. They have revealed that Gazan detainees are 24/7 handcuffed and blindfolded. They have no food. They sleep on mattresses on the floor for only 3 hours. So they provide them with the mattress for 3 hours, and then they take the mattress back after the 3 hour time ends. And the second article published was revealing the killing of more than 27 Gazan detainees inside Sdei Timam military camp, which was horrible because until this day, we still don't know the names of the killed detainees in this military camp. We only know the number from this article published in Haaretz. And this was like 3 months ago. And until this day, the Israeli occupation authorities are not disclosing any information regarding these cases. And so the third article, which was published like a month ago, was regarding an interview with a doctor who works inside a military camp. And the doctor revealed that he had to amputate the limbs of Gazan detainees because of the long restraints. Like, just like I said, they are 24/7 restrained and handcuffed, and this led to medical issues in their hands and feet. So the doctor had to amputate their hands and feet. And also 2 weeks ago, one Gazan detainee was released, and his leg was amputated. He had no leg because of the long hours restraint on their feet and hands. And also the thing is that the Israeli soldiers are actually bragging about acts of torture. And this is by publishing videos. They are actually filming and capturing pictures and videos of them torturing Palestinians. And they are using and publishing these videos on their personal social media accounts.
Can you tell us more about the unlawful combatants law and how it's used to arrest people in Gaza?
This law is actually similar to administrative detention law, which means they can arrest Gazans without presenting any charges against them, without presenting them before any court, without any trial, based on a secret file. And they actually amended this law, this unlawful combatant law, to allow the ban of meeting with their lawyer for up to 180 days, which means we as lawyers are banned from visiting the detainees for up to 6 months, which is a very long period of time. And we know that within all the torture taking place, we know that after 6 months, all the bruises and evidence on their bodies would be gone. And this is the main reason for this amendment on the law.
What challenges do Palestinian detainees face when they're released from Israeli prisons?
So imagine a prisoner or a detainee is released. Of course, they cannot go to their homes because their homes are actually demolished. They cannot meet with their families because they do not know where are their families located. They do not have phones, of course. They take everything from them. So it takes like days in order to get in touch with any of their family members. So this is really horrible also. Like, you are released, and of course, because all of them are subjected to different acts of torture, they have to go directly to the hospital. And this happens with every released Gazan detainee. They have to go first to the hospital because, like, their medical situation is horrible, and then it takes days in order to get access to their homes, to their families, or whatever. So it's really complicated, the situation there, because of all the demolishing the houses, all the evacuating, the displacement of Gazans. So it takes a long time to get in touch or to see your family after you are released. So that's why it's hard on us as organizations and lawyers to document with these released prisoners, because like after they are released, the only thing they want is to make sure their loved ones are still alive.
And how would you like the international community to respond to torture and ill treatment of Palestinian detainees by Israeli authorities?
They have to be held accountable, like, and not after years, like today. They have to be held accountable today. And this is not happening. And they had to be held accountable 7 months ago. And this also didn't happen. So that's why we're frustrated and disappointed of the international community, because crimes are still taking place without anyone stopping the Israeli occupation from doing all these crimes and perpetrating the crime of genocide and torture against Palestinians. The first thing now is that we have to call for the release of all Palestinian political prisoners, and of course to stop the crimes of torture committed against Palestinian prisoners.
Looking ahead, what's your hope for human rights in Israel and Palestine?
People of the world will make the real difference in what's happening now, because we've tried, like, we've been working for years with governments, with the UN system and all, but we've seen that people of the world who are going out to the streets are actually making a difference. So raising the issue of the Palestinian issue, the genocide in Gaza, the violations against Palestinian prisoners, raising this issue is really important. And then, of course, protesting against it, going out to the streets, putting pressure on your own government. We are really sure and aware that all the solidarity we have from different people in the world is going to make a difference in one day, if not today, but in the next let's say years. So if I try to raise the issue of Palestinian prisoners on my social media accounts, for example, I could be arrested. That's why it's important for people of the world to do that on behalf of Palestinians, because they cannot silence us, you know. And we see, like, Palestinians, we actually are full aware of everything taking place in different countries in the world, and this gives us hope. Of course, this gives us hope to see people in the streets, to see the students now, all the what's taking place with the students worldwide is really, really important.